Hi everybody, John Cena here, and welcome to this FunkQuest Nobility episode. And if you are travel sick or have issues when you're going downhill fast, this is probably not the episode for you, because we're going to find out what it's like to be in one of those bobsleigh things that you see on the Olympics and the winter sports TV, because we've got Nikki McSweeney, Team GB. Nikki, welcome, first time on FunkQuest.
Thank you for having me.
I have a few questions before we get into the show. Do you get travel sick?
Luckily, no. No,
you don't. So are you at the back or the front?
I am at the front. So I spent the first few years in the back of the sled.
Yeah.
And just recently transitioned into the front, into the pilot seat, the best seat in the house.
So you're the steerer?
Yes.
What is it? Is it a steering wheel or is it pedals, or how does it steer?
It steers. So you've got two little D-rings that attach onto bungees, which then direct the runners left to right. So it's basically a D-ring pulley system.
How old were you when you first went down on a bobsleigh?
I was 21 when I first started bobsleighing. So a lot of people think that's quite late getting into a sport, but actually with bobsleigh, it's a later sport. A lot of people start when they're 16, just because I think,
really?
Because it's a high risk sport. There's lots of G's going through the corners and the forces that it puts on. I think just later start is probably a safer option, always has been.
There wasn't many people when I went to school, you did that, crane driver, doctor, nurse. Nobody said I want to be a bobsleigh driver.
And to be fair, even I didn't. I wanted to grow up and be an athlete, but through athletics, I wanted to be the next heptathlete, standing on the gold spot behind Jessica Ennis and Denise Lewis, but that never quite happened. My path directed me towards winter sport, not summer sport. Winter sport in England is not our forte, shall we say. It's not a national sport like it is in Switzerland, Germany, where they've got all the funding and set up there. Athletes that suit it tend to be multi-eventers because they've got the speed, they've got the power, and the combination of both to push the sled quickly at the top of the track.
How long are you pushing for then? About what, 7-8 seconds, something like that?
It varies track to track. So each track has a different gradient. So you could be pushing it for nearly 7 seconds. Some of them you could be pushing it just over 5. So it varies track to track. So
will you know? I mean, I once read about Usain Bolt. He'll know exactly how many strides he'll take. Would you know exactly how many strides you would take?
Almost. I wouldn't say we count in strides, but we have visual cues perhaps when we jump in the sled. So we, as pilots, we're set up ready to go to take and be in control over the first corner.
Right, okay, wherever that may be, whether it's near or far.
Yeah. And again, that just depends on the track. If you've got a quite a steep gradient, you'd be getting in a bit quicker because the sled's picking up speed quite quickly. But if it's a long, flat start, you would probably be running nearly 40 metres.
Anyway, we've got a game to play. So we've got another contestant, long-time friend of the show, back to season 1. Rusty, tell us where you're dialing in from.
Southwest Florida.
Any bobsleigh tracks in Southwest Florida, Rusty?
I would imagine over in Orlando, yes, because the infamous movie Cool Runnings, I believe, filmed in the Orlando area. I know that we have lots of roller coasters, which may not apply, but it's still the same idea where you're just going like this.
That film, Nikki, is that a help or a hindrance to you?
It's a help in a way. A lot of people go, "What's bobsleigh?" You say Cool Runnings, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know what it is now." So because it's not a well-known sport, but most people have seen Cool Running.
The rules of FunkQuest are simple. Each Funkster selects one of 4 icons. Behind each icon is a question which may or may not have anything to do with the icon. The Funkster then has 1 minute to tell a story, tell a joke, or maybe even answer the question.
Okay, let's play. Rusty, because you've been on the show before, we're going to ask you to go first.
Okay.
What we've done is we've set up some questions which hopefully are going to get some funk out of Nikki, some interesting things. Rusty, you can pick the Acropolis, a mountain bike, some walking boots, or some croissants.
I have just come back from a 2-week hiking trip, so we're going to go with the walking boots because that's my jam.
Okay, where do you go for downtime?
I go and crawl into my bed with some tea and Scrabble.
Scrabble? What, as in the word game?
Yes. I played 24 to 27 games a day.
What, online or with yourself?
Yeah,
or?
online.
Good level. We had Brett on the other day, Brett Smithen, world Scrabble champion.
I know, I saw that. I was excited. I was hoping that one day maybe we'll just be able to talk.
So what's your highest score?
My regular is about 325, 375. My highest was 520. You gotta play your doubles right.
Because he was world champion, we didn't get into quizzing him much because we don't want to give him his secrets. We know Nicky's not going to give us her training secrets away. I hope she's not, because we want Great Britain to win. So Scrabble and bed and what? You say tea.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki, you can pick the Acropolis, a mountain bike, or some croissants.
Let's go mountain bike, because it's
bikes.
adventurous.
What mishap have you had with someone who didn't speak English?
So obviously English, part of the English team, we then head out as a group to the place we're going to go to first, whether that's Europa Cup, World Cup. So we were traveling out to Germany at the time, and we're in a minibus all together. And I speak a lot of German, having lived in Germany for a couple of years, so I kind of know the signs, know what it means. But this guy who just joined us on season, coming out with this, we were going down the autobahns, and that seems to be, sat nav says, go down the autobahns for another 250 miles. So you sat on the autobahns for a long time, and must have been a good hour and a half down one of the motorways. And this guy said, "God, where is this place, Ausfahrt? It's huge." Because he keeps seeing signs for it. And we all burst out laughing because we know Ausfahrt means exit. So when we told him it meant exit, he keeled over in embarrassment. So
Turn around and go all the way back.
Yeah, just exit off the motorway. So he thought Ausfahrt was the actual place in Germany.
See, when I see like elite athletes on TV, I think you've got everything dialed in and perfect and all that stuff. But it's good to know you're kind of just as dysfunctional as the rest of us.
Yeah.
I mean,
if anything, slightly worse sometimes. Yeah.
Just focused on. Excellent. Good start. Rusty, wooden bridge, scuba diver, some eggs, or looking out to sea.
Let's go scuba. That's my next adventure in life. I want to get my license.
Well, you better answer this question. How do you transport your equipment around?
I have a little sporty vehicle, a people carrier. Yeah, that's a thing. Camping equipment, people carrier, dog carrier. Very expensive with a gas price carrier.
You got any bobsleighs in there? Do you carry bobsleigh? I guess it's sort of thing, Nikki, what you can't just stick in the back of a people carrier and transport around, right? How big is it?
No, we tend to use vans over Europe, and we drive track to track with the vans and all our equipment in the back.
Well, like a builder's van type of thing.
Yeah, like a Ford Transit type.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what
you
we
just hire that and just. I mean, does this thing have to be packed up, or does it have to? What's the time to get it out ready to go from being in the van?
It's pretty much set up apart from the runners, so it's loaded in as it is seen, just with travel runners on. When we need to train or race, we'll then flip it upside down once it's out of the van and put the runners on that we need.
I just thought, I mean, bobsleigh. I mean, there's a sport where the actual doing to the prattling about ratio, I'm thinking like triathlon, rock climbing, horse riding, where the actual doing is this and the prattling about is this. Is that a fair comment?
Fair comment for horse riders.
But that was a good answer, Rusty, to that question. Thank you. Because it's Nikki's turn. You can pick a wooden bridge, some eggs, or looking out to sea.
Let's go with the sea.
Another overseas question. Which local culture do you wish you could have brought home?
I would probably say the cultures. I quite like the Swiss culture. Switzerland, yeah. They have different parts. They've got, the French. They've got different dialects depending on which border they're on, and but just the tidiness, the loveliness of them all, and just the beauty of the Swiss. I mean, even some of the modern buildings go in, fit nicely among the old buildings, and it's just a beautiful place to have on your doorstep if you could.
I mean, I've never been to Switzerland. A lot of their regions where they speak German or French or Italian, can you just speak any?
You can speak a bit of like Swiss, German, a across the whole board, but there are certain areas of Switzerland that just speak French or just speak kind of a Swiss. There's different dialects, and I've heard them all before, but they're also almost completely different. I suppose it's a bit like us having those accents.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
In the country.
That's like my joke. You heard them all before. Rusty, your turn. Some humorous assorted socks, some walking trainers, some encyclopedias, or a pride of lions.
I'm feeling like the socks are going to be my thing.
When is an adventure more fun alone?
I love just going. So whether I have somebody or not, it's not relevant to me. I just love to explore and be a part of the world. It's just such a huge, beautiful place.
You been to Switzerland?
Not yet. Not yet.
Good answer. Not yet. Good answer. Okay. What's the furthest place you've been from Florida?
I used to work in Brussels.
Speak French? Speak Dutch?
A little bit of French, but not. Americans don't have the delightful tourists from other places so frequently like they do in Europe. You know, I think in Europe you are embraced with multicultural and multiple languages on a regular basis, whereas here it's English, maybe Spanish, and up north, the northern part of America, it's, you know, they try to get you to speak some Canadian French.
Yeah.
But it's not like Europe. I really did not want to leave Europe when I worked there.
Welcome back anytime. Nikki, question 3. Some trainers, walking trainers, encyclopedias, or pride of lions?
Pride of lions.
Now, when do you start planning your trips?
So if we call them trips, bobsleigh trips, we've already planned our season. So if we go away November time, we've already planned where we're going throughout the winter season already. So April, May, we start planning and gearing up towards.
So you picked out races, right? And you go down to the detail of hotels and stuff like that?
Yeah. So as pilot, I kind of govern my own team in a way.
Good.
I've got to find my sponsorship, partnership with all those businesses that are willing to support me through these seasons. Where we go in, target particular races, whether that's Europa Cup, World Cups, then qualify for bigger events at the end of the season, whether that's perhaps European Championships or just World Championships, or 4 years time the Olympics.
So that's on the horizon then. That's on the horizon then, the Olympics.
Yeah, absolutely. So we break those 4 years down into specific targets for those 4 years to build up towards that Olympic goal. So we start planning this season. I know where I'm going or where I want to go. We then try and book our accommodation as soon as possible. So the places we've got has got like enough beds for the whole team.
Yeah.
It's got enough room, so we have a garage to do our sled work because we're mechanics as well as athletes. We've got to look after our own sled, so we've got to pick certain places quite wisely, so we've got everything we need in there.
So how do you keep track of this? Do you have some kind of software, or do you just write it down on a notepad or in your head, or how do you keep track of all this stuff?
Excel's my friend, shall we say. Yeah. Devise an app. There we go.
Devise an app. Yeah. The wannabe global European traveller invented by Nikki. Rusty, question 4. You can pick a man with a rucksack, a mountain scene, some penguins, or a snake.
Let's go with snake. I'm feeling adventurous.
So we're talking about adventures. When did your camera fail on you?
Technology is bittersweet. It works when it wants to, but never when you need it to. In Niagara Falls, perfect example, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'm on the Canadian border of America in Niagara Falls. It's breathtakingly beautiful. And the water is emerald green, just absolutely gorgeous. And it's frothing and foaming and loud. And you just want to dive in because it just looks so soft and serene. Where the froth is on part of it, on the Canadian side, there were rainbows. There were multiple rainbows. And my camera it was not able to take the picture. So it was something that I have in my head that I'll cherish, but sometimes you can't capture. I mean, when we went to Niagara Falls, the thing I remember most is that you got out of the car, you park on that like grassland a bit further down,
and you just hear this.
I thought it was awe-striking because I'm 5 miles out and you can see the froth in the sky, and it brought me to tears. I'm like, this thing's got to be ginormous, you know? Yeah. And it's very large. It's very powerful, but the beauty was just, I would do it again 1,000 times. It was just so beautiful.
Nikki, you can pick man with a rucksack, a mountain scene, or some penguins.
Let's go with the mountains.
The mountain
what
scene.
I'm doing.
Okay, well, funny you should mention that because I'm interested to know how bobsleigh athletes train. A lot of gym work.
I'm training 8 times a week over 6 days, so I have 1 day off the week to recover. So we do a lot of gym work. So pushing the sled. The sled itself is 170 kilograms minimum. So it's a big weight to shift from like stationary to as fast as possible. So we got to be strong. So a lot of gym work. But it also gives the opportunity then to work on any asymmetries. So if you've got a weakness on the left side, you've got that opportunity to try and get as strong or as evenly as strong on both sides. We do a lot of sprint training as well. So my general week will be alternate gym sprint training. So 3 times a week in the gym, 3 times a week on the track, and to get our speed. And a lot of it is speed work, so just sprinting by ourselves. We also have, if we're going through a strength phase, we'll be harnessed to a sled, so something we can run with weights on it. So that can be 20, 30, 40 kilograms we'll be trying to sprint with, which makes it a bit more relevant because we're not pushing.
So if you were to, if the sled is at the top of the hill, right, and if you were to just push it, would it just go off by itself and you have to go chase it?
Not generally at the start. Normally there's a bit of a flat before it then tapers down.
To stop that happening. I suspect you do gym and stretching and stuff like that, but I never thought you'd do running training. For some reason, I don't know why. Good stuff. Rusty, finally, you can pick the racing yacht, campfire, road, or rope.
I love campfires, so let's do it.
When do you have to give up and go home? That's
tricky. Give up what and what?
When you're on, you always ask me a question. I don't know the answer.
I know.
On what plane? Tell us about your most recent road trip then.
My most recent road trip, I was gone for 2 weeks, just got back a week ago. I went to Niagara Falls, I went to Lilydale in New York, I went to Salem, Massachusetts, Boston, Maine, and then I got lost in the grotto of Virginia. So maybe this is where we can spin this. That would have been a great time to give up. So Virginia, there's places in Virginia that there's nothing but farm. You might be lucky to have a gas station. And the grotto is where all of the caves are. My GPS stopped working because of satellite issues. And so I could have given up, but because this is what I love to do, I just kept going. What's the worst case scenario? What's really going to happen? You know,
you might die.
You're going to anyway, aren't you? I mean, come on.
That's true. Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
So eventually, we're all going to go. I want to go out with a smile and being embraced with nature. Yeah. So.
I'd like to get eaten by a bear when you're at this Virginia caves.
Recycling. I'm all about recycling.
Nikki, finally, you can pick a racing yacht, a road, or a rope.
We'll go road because you spend time on the road.
Good. Tell us about your bucket list. What's your plans for the future? How can we help you on your journey?
Bucket list, good. One big one is the Olympics. That's my little girl's dream. Ever since I've been, remember watching telly, watching the Olympics, sitting there, getting teared away from the telly by the parents to go to bed. That's been my little dream. So the little girl inside me has still got that.
Who's the number one driver in the moment? It's 2 man, right?
We got the female in the world or Great Britain. Germans, Laura Nolter's pretty good.
How can we beat them? We've got about 40 seconds to plan it.
How can we beat them? Equipment. Top equipment. That's a good thing.
Like aero shoes and gloves and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's the sleds. There's different sleds. There's so many makes of sleds, but getting the best top quality sled gives you the best streamline, the best.
What's it made out of? Carbon fibre.
Yeah, you got a sachet that you metal frame, and then carbon fibre type. But they're all slightly different in their shapes, and you can see over the years how they've gone from like a dome slate to a bit more of a a triangular shape at the top to be a little bit more aerodynamic.
Yeah, fascinating stuff. So you want money, don't you? That's what you want,
basically,
really,
yeah.
to get all this gear to beat the Germans, which, I mean, we know we want to do that. So how can we contact you, find out more, and send you money, Nikki?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, Nikki McSweeney, or you can find me on Instagram, which is at Nikki Mc17, 17 being my lucky number.
Well, we hope you're not 17th in your next row. I hope you're first. Rusty, how can we find out more about you? And thank you for being a good stooge on this episode. Very good episode. Very, very impressed. Rusty, how can we find out more about you?
Just rusty.info, rustie.info, and it has my YouTube, my podcast, blogs, the whole gamut.
Very, very interesting episode. Fascinating episode.
Nikki, good luck. This is so exciting.
Thank you so much.
Ladies, thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll speak soon. Take care. And Nikki, we'll see you in the Olympics.
You shall. 4 years, definitely.
4 years. Take care. Bye now.